The pandemic had caused 18.2 million deaths in the world, and we're sick.
We will cover on how COVID affected people's lives. I am your host, David, and let's start with the first interview.
All right, man.
This is Mr. Gnarski, and he's going to share us his story about COVID. First question is, how did it affect your day-to-day?
So, well, obviously, when COVID came up, what was it, like March 13th or something like that?
Yeah.
Was it March 13th?
March, I think it was, yeah.
So March 13th happened, and it was just, right, shut it down. We said goodbye to you guys, and we went home, and there was a lot of rumors like, oh, will we be coming back? Won't we be coming back? And, I mean, there was just a lot of confusion, and I think if I remember back there, a lot of people were pretty scared, and they didn't really know the ramifications of, oh, we'll be shut down for a day, we'll be shut down for a week, but then to be shut down for months and months, and to come back to, the school and have that, the A day, the B day, and alternating days, splitting classes in half, that was wild, just from a work standpoint. So, but right away when it happened, yeah, I mean, just a lot of confusion and kind of why? What is this thing? What's going to happen to us? And it was just kind of like a sit and wait, right? Like sit and wait and see what the news tells us, what the government tells us, and just kind of stay optimistic, I guess.
So, when you were in quarantine, did you, what was, your day-to-day, I guess?
So, quarantine was kind of funny. I just moved in with my current wife. I just moved in with who is now my wife, not my current wife. Well, she's my current wife, too.
Yeah.
But I just moved in. Me and Amanda had just kind of started dating. Just moved in. And, I mean, I moved in a month after meeting her. So it was, pretty quick. I guess we had been living together for a few months, but still, our relationship was really fresh. And then to be locked up in a house with your pretty much new girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, man, we were engaged then. We can edit that out. Yeah, we were engaged during COVID. I think I asked her to be my wife a few months prior to that. I think I asked her in December or January of that following year, 2019, 2020. Oh, no, it was right before Thanksgiving. That's what it was. 2019, before the Thanksgiving, I asked her to marry me. And then March of 2020, COVID hit. We were due to get married in October of 2020. And so that was a big thing that we were talking about, how is COVID going to affect us getting married? And we said that we would not push our wedding back, because a lot of people who were getting married during that time canceled their weddings, pushed their weddings back, right? Because they wanted to have the big wedding, people invited. And we said October, 17th?
2020?
That's when we got married, October 17th. So we said this day we're getting married no matter what. And little did we know, we actually caught COVID a week before our wedding.
Oh.
So we thought, people would have to miss it because they caught COVID. We were the ones that got COVID. So that was a really, really, really hard moment for us. We were actually at a wedding the weekend prior. I was asked to stand up at a wedding and caught COVID. And then we found out the Wednesday prior to our wedding, oh, dang. So, sorry, I kind of got off question there a little bit. But,
that's good. That's interesting.
But yeah, so we had to send out messages to everyone saying, hey, we have COVID. We understand if you don't want to come. I would say about a quarter of the people showed up. We had bought all the dinners. We had bought, we were planning on having a pretty big wedding. And yeah, we had to donate almost all the food. And it was not your typical wedding, put it that way.
No.
So it's kind of a bummer. But we got married. We did what we wanted to do, so I would say it worked out. And we're still married, so that's good.
What was your favorite thing to do in quarantine, activity wise?
Oh man, that's when Fortnite was popping off. right?
Yeah.
That's when Fortnite got big. So me and my buddies played a ton of Fortnite. But then to like stay active, I built a makeshift gym in my garage. Um, so I'd go work out in my garage. I bought one of those baseball nets where you throw the ball in the net and it bounces back to you. So I did a lot of baseball drills in my backyard just by myself, kind of getting myself ready for the season. And then did a lot of puzzles. I
Puzzles.
liked puzzles when I was a kid, but as you get busier with life, like, and I just play more video games now. But I was getting so sick of video games that I bought a few puzzles, and um, I did a few of those during quarantine. And then I got a bunch of puzzles for like Christmas that year, and I haven't opened them since. So I think we need to go into another quarantine for me to open my puzzle up. Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
How did it affect your family and friends?
Oh, we would do. I mean, I think for the most part, we all made it through pretty well. I don't think I lost any. No one. No one. No one passed away that I knew from COVID. But relationship wise, like we would do a lot of Zoom calls. I mean, probably once or twice. Uh, yeah, every day, every other day, we would say, "Hey, hop on the Zoom. Let's just hang out." And whether it was just chatting or playing video games, we'd play cards, which was unique. Trying to play cards via Skype. Um, so, in essence, even though we were separated, I think it did kind of bring us closer together because we realized like how much seeing each other and being with each other means. And when that's taken away, you kind of say like, oh wow, like now I don't have that opportunity, because even though that opportunity is there, right? We don't always go see our friends and family, especially when you get older and you kind of move away from those people. But once that's taken from you, you start to say like, man, I really should connect with my friends and family more. And you kind of went on your way to set up Zoom calls and to reach out to people because you couldn't just go see them if you wanted to.
How did COVID affect your job?
My job, oh man. Well, when they told all the students that all their grades were staying what they were, and the majority of my students were either at an A or a B, um, there wasn't much that happened virtually, right? I know a lot of my students had to attend other classes, but um, it was just there wasn't a lot of guidance for what should be happening. I tried my best to get lessons going, but being a computer teacher, not all my students have computers. They don't have access to Word, PowerPoint, Excel at home. They don't have any computer access, so it was extremely difficult. We'll put it that way.
How did you support local businesses in the pandemic?
So I know my wife my fiance at the time, Amanda, was really, really adamant on supporting local business. So we would go. I mean, we went out to eat way more than we usually go out to eat, just because we wanted to support them. So we would go. At the time, we were living in Wauwatosa. We'd go pick up ramen kits. Uh, we love ramen, so we would. We would just really look for any deal or anything that restaurants around us were doing, because right, like, think about owning a business then, and you rely on people coming in to eat your food, and all of a sudden you're seeing shops set up, where you can order a few things and pick it up outside. You can, yeah, ramen kits, whatever it was. Like we tried super hard, almost, gosh, every other day to find somewhere to eat, just to try to support them, right? Because we didn't want to see the businesses around us shut down, and so we ate some pretty good food. Paid a little bit probably too much for, but like I said, that's in times like that you have to kind of think about, um, supporting the community, I guess.
How did it affect you mentally and physically?
I would say it affected me mentally. I am someone who does not like to be inside. Like I'm not one to sit on a couch for long periods of time. I'm not someone who enjoys watching movies. Like, I need to be active and out. So once the golf courses opened up, like once I could go golfing, that was awesome. I golfed every day. I mean, I golfed. Like I said, I set up a shop, a workout gym in my garage. I just had to be outside, and I think I kind of rekindled my love for going on walks, right? Because I'd take my dog for, 5 walks a day, like just walk, play golf, and work out outside. I got some housework done, but mentally, I think I did okay. Physically, I was probably in some of the best shape I was in because I just had nothing better to do other than, like I said, when I get done playing Fortnite, go outside and hang out. So I think I made it out pretty okay. And it's kind of like I almost, and you hear people say this sometimes, like I almost miss the simplicity of quarantine because it was just kind of focused on like your physical and mental survival. And you just kind of take a step back and focus on that.
Like, what kind of workouts did you did outside?
Oh, man. Anything. I was like lifting up cinder blocks. What did I have? I had cinder blocks. I had a tree branch that I would like throw over my head.
Oh,
I had a really big stump with an axe that I would. It was like kind of, like I said, it was a mishmash of just trying to stay active and keep my body moving, I guess.
overall thoughts and feelings?
It was weird and wild, and there's a lot of questions that I still don't know if they've been truly answered, and such a crazy time for a long time, and it's just like it's gone, right? Like no one other than you is talking about it anymore or even brings it up. Like it's just we turn the page and we're back on track. I do have to say the best thing that happened from COVID is curbside pickup from grocery stores. I no longer have to step inside a grocery store. I get anxiety. I don't get anxiety often. Going to a grocery store trying to find one thing, not for me. So now I just order online, pick it up curbside. So that's my best takeaway.
Nice. Thank you so much for your interview, Mr. Ignarski.
You're welcome, buddy.
Yeah. But this is Miguel right here, and he's going to share his story. How did COVID affected your day and life?
I honestly don't know.
You don't know?
No. I mean, it was... You couldn't really do anything. Like, you couldn't go outside and stuff. Because all the, like, bacteria, I think you call that, like, is everywhere, so...
The virus?
Yeah, the virus. That's what
How did it affected your friends and family?
family, you didn't know if they would, like, get sick and stuff or die. And especially with, like, friends and stuff. You couldn't, like, see them that often. So...
How did COVID affected your like hold on, let me see that. What was life like as a student in the pandemic?
It was kind of good because we had to sleep in, and like you can just go into class whenever you want. So yeah.
Did you like doing the virtual stuff? What was the hardest part of and the easiest part of virtual school?
The easiest. Just gonna like sleep in and stuff instead of waking up early. Like if you wake up at like 6 o'clock, then you can sleep until like 8 or 9. So and the hard, I don't think there's any hard things. So
No hard things. Did you support local businesses during this time?
yeah,
Which ones?
McDonald's. What else? Burger King. Taco Bell.
How did COVID affected you mentally and physically?
Nothing really happened to me.
No.
So, no.
You have overall thoughts and feelings? No. Well, we thank you for having you here.
Thank you.
This is Christopher Holloway. What's your position?
I am an associate principal here at Waukesha West.
And let's see his site of COVID.
Yep.
So the first question is, what changed in your life when the pandemic happened?
Well, I mean, it changed everybody's life. So, with my kids, like I ended up getting, in the pandemic, I ended up getting COVID pretty early on. So I was, kind of banned to my basement for 10 full days with my son. My son also got it. And that changed everything. I mean, we kind of were isolated by ourselves. My son didn't take it very well because we didn't go upstairs. We had people bring us food. It was just a very weird environment and secluded. So we didn't have a whole lot of people to talk to. We only so much TV you can watch and episodes you can watch. So that would say that was the biggest change, is just being secluded from people around and not being able to do your everyday things that you're used to doing.
Did you get COVID like the first month or two?
I did. I got it really early on. I can't remember the exact date, but I got it really early on when people didn't really know much about it. So that's why I was definitely in the basement for 10 full days and didn't come up. So it was hard to not really be outside and in the environment and seeing the same people that you see. And it was mentally challenging for my son and I. My son, I remember him crying and breaking down. Like he was so just anxious and he just did not want to be in the basement anymore and being away from his friends and everything he's used to doing.
How were you informed that you had COVID?
We had the symptoms. So we looked it up. We had the symptoms of like the fever and all that stuff and coughing. And so I ended up going to like a clinic that was kind of popped up in a shopping center because they were all over the place at that time. So in the clinic, and we stood in line with mask on and everything, went inside, got tested, left, got the results later, and it said we had it. So we were okay. It was bad. It was just like any kind of a sickness. But the worst part of it, worse than the symptoms, was the being secluded from everybody.
Were you working in the school in that time?
Yeah, I was working in school. I wasn't in Waukesha West, but I was in a different school district. And the way they same school district, different position, a different school. And so the way they worked is they gave us you had COVID days that you could take off. Like I didn't have to use sick days because it wasn't my fault. I didn't want to stay home. I was actually well enough to be at school, like my health wise. But because we didn't know about it and the spread of it, they made everybody stay home. So I just had to stay home for those 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How did you manage stress and anxiety during these uncertain times?
Lots of, family time. Once we got over COVID, we were still, there was no school. We were obviously virtual, all of that. So to keep myself busy, I was still working during the day and meeting with students and all that. But then I did a lot of projects around the house. Actually, I got a lot of things done. So I redid a bathroom in our house, and I redid our laundry room and and painted and all that. So at least I kept myself busy with doing things like that. But I still didn't like the. I would rather not have that than be able to do all that stuff. I'd rather be out and in the community and doing the things that I like to do rather than being secluded to my house.
How did you think society will change long term as a result of the pandemic?
That's a great question. And being a teacher, we talk about that a lot because students, they missed a lot of their education during that time. So we're still seeing the effects of that here at school right now even. So we have a lot of students that are still coming through that were in their elementary years for the pandemic, and it interrupted a lot of their learning. And so now we're seeing how these gaps in learning. So a lot of kids are coming in missing huge chunks of math and science and English, and they're missing it. So it put them behind. So that had a huge effect. Even though there was virtual learning, we did do virtual learning, but it wasn't the same as being in front of a teacher and engaging and collaborating with students. It wasn't the same. So it definitely affected some students more than others. but we're slowly getting out of that. We're slowly getting out of that. Now, of course, the economy was definitely affected as well. Inflation, I think it's a result of inflation, of all that was still at that time. It shut down factories. Resources became harder to come by, resources, materials, so therefore the prices went up. So there was a lot of huge effects to it.
Did you find the virtual school more difficult than actual school?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. So some students weren't engaged because they were on a computer. Some students wouldn't show up where they would normally show up when you're face to face, because they can collaborate with a teacher, they can talk to a teacher, they can build relationships, they can talk to their classmates, where that wasn't happening through the computer.
If another pandemic were to happen, what do you think we should do differently?
Well, now we know so much more about like what our technology and what our capabilities are. I don't even know if I could answer that question unless I knew like kind of like the situation that's going on with the pandemic, and how spreadable is it? How serious is it? Is it causing massive casualties? So I'd have to like know that to be able to answer that question, but I'm not sure at that time. I think for a portion of the pandemic, it was the only thing that we could do because we didn't know enough. But I do think it went on a little bit longer than it needed to. So I think the more research we do, the more we know, the better decisions we can make on how we react to that, and what our society looks like and what schooling looks like.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
Mr.
David.
Holloway.
You bet, man. You bet.
Hi, this is Connor Snare, and we're going to ask him some questions of him in the pandemic. What were the challenges like in virtual school versus normal school?
I will say that in virtual school, I definitely had a harder time focusing. Needed to be like, my mom was kind of on me, Connor, you gotta get on class, and I was like, I don't want to, but I guess it was very different in the sense of focusing, being able to focus, and I guess maybe there wasn't as much motivation because, I guess I didn't really, because I like interacting with people, right? Mm-hmm. So I just think not being able to see my friends too, not being able to really talk to them except for over like text and stuff, that was really difficult for me. But I think I fell a little bit behind on some of my schoolwork at times, so that was definitely one of the challenges I had.
What would you do to manage stress during these times?
For managing stress, I had so many different things that I did during that time. I was a really big Lego person at that time. I would literally build the most random things possible. Also playing games, like video games, playing board games too. That was definitely something I did a lot, but it got to the point where it's like I've just played so many different games. It was difficult because I wanted to go outside to do stuff, go places, but I really couldn't. So that was actually stressful there. I did sometimes draw, which I never liked drawing. So that was really interesting that I started doing that during the pandemic. It was like, shows how much the pandemic really affected me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess I also talked with my friends sometimes just over text and stuff like that.
How has COVID changed work and living life in the future?
Like how has it had like an impact like today?
Yeah.
I think it definitely, like in an economic sense or non-economic sense? Both. Economically, I know that the U.S. poured billions of dollars into research and vaccines and also the stimulus checks because a lot of people could not work, which I think that also people not being able to go out and work also really helped, like social media platforms, especially like TikTok and stuff, help them, like help creators on there skyrocket because everyone was like, I got to do something online to make a living. So people dedicated a lot of their time to doing that, I think. And I think that's made, it's kind of, in a way, shaped media today. I think it's also definitely caused some inflation. I remember when eggs is a common example. I remember where eggs used to be like $1.99 a dozen. Yeah. I mean, after COVID, they went to $4.99, $5 a dozen now. With like bird flu, I know it's like $9 a dozen. And that was especially hard on me because I love eating eggs. It's like a staple of my diet. I can eat 12 at a time. And I kid you not when I say that. So, yeah, that was pretty crazy.
What changed in the culture in COVID?
Like, how has COVID changed, like, culture, like,
Yeah.
society's culture? I think I think it has, like, in a way, kind of pushed us to have way more things online accessible, and we do a lot less stuff in person, and you can pretty much get anything online as you could get anything online as it was with the internet. But I think COVID just accelerated that to the point where you can do absolutely anything on the internet, and especially with like those VR apps, like I don't know, VR Chat or whatever, or Rec Room, I think it's called, where you can meet with people online, like virtually, and more human-like than another game. Like we're using a controller, and it's really immersive. I feel like that also got really popular during COVID because it was a way to socialize that felt kind of real as you could get. Besides being in person, of course. And then I think, honestly, a lot of smaller towns and smaller businesses that, like, people would commonly go to, that I guess you could consider, like, local businesses and stuff part of the culture of, like, a town or something, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of them had a really hard time, and a lot of them ended up shutting down or like just being restaurants. They're like delivery only, carry out only, and that like really affected a lot of people I know. Mm-hmm. And there's some restaurants that are still like that are still closed, that are still carry out only, delivery only. Like we still have not fully recovered from that.
Yes.
And it's really unfortunate because there were some really good restaurants that were around here that kind of fell under during COVID and haven't been the same or just ceased to exist.
Do you think the pandemic will have a long-term economic effects on global economy?
I mean, absolutely yes. I would say even shopping, things have become way more online too because of the pandemic. And with like, you could get door delivery. I'm pretty sure DoorDash came up around that time too. So they capitalized on that. Like a lot of people capitalized off of the pandemic, but a lot of people suffered. There's people I know that are in like crippling debt because of the pandemic, and then there's people I know that are also like doing really well because of the pandemic. On a global scale, the U.S. is now over $1 trillion further into debt. Mm-hmm. It's not like we needed more national debt, but we're over $1 trillion further into debt. So are other countries, the rest of the world really, because we all panicked and everything shut down, not just businesses and stuff. Like everything. The whole world pretty much was on lockdown.
That is true.
Government agencies and stuff, operations, all that, everything was put on pause to just like sort through what was going on, figure things out, and just find a resolution, especially considering just how many people were dying and the total casualties. Last I checked is around 300,000. 300 million. Sorry, which that's a lot of people. I believe it's up there in the most one of the most it's one of the most deadly outbreaks of all time, which it's insane to think that we lived through that, and I'm really thankful that I lived through it, you know? I didn't get COVID at all. Everyone else in my family did. I don't know how I didn't, but I think that the whole world shutting down, being put on pause to figure out what was going on, I feel like it brought us together too, because I don't even know that I think wars were even put on pause. It's like, we need to actually figure out what's going on. And I think that's good. Of course, the wars are back on, but at the same time, it just was a huge loss, not only of people, but of resources and just the sanity of some people, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate that happened, but there's really nothing we can do, and it's good that we have gotten through it for the most part, and now it's just kind of like picking up the pieces.
Yep.
So I feel like we were economically in shambles for a bit, and now we're just kind of like tidying up and I guess making things better again. Things are pretty decent right now, though. I would argue for the most part.
Well, final question. Looking back, what do you think you learned about yourself during the pandemic?
Oof. What did I learn about myself? Well, I learned that I cannot sit still for 8 hours, because I cannot do virtual school. I think that is when I really learned that I am a very extroverted person, and it was like very, very difficult for me to not be in person interacting with people, because I would much rather be interacting with people in person than I would, like, over the phone or like FaceTime or whatever. Zoom, I think, was something we did then, and WebEx was what we used for school. It was very difficult in that way, but I learned a lot about myself just through reflection too. I learned how to deal with stress a lot. I learned surprisingly that I don't like pineapple on pizza, because my brother kept trying to force that on me, because he started having an obsession with making pizza, and he was obsessed with Hawaiian pizza. And that's yeah, but I think not only did I learn about myself, I think I also learned about others too. And I learned that, like, we do all have a lot in common, right? And especially everyone just going through the same thing. It kind of just, I feel like it brought a lot of people down to earth, and down, like, they could see like just the reality of a lot of things. And I think personally I'm grateful for that, because I feel like the world has gotten to a better place after COVID, than it was before, in a sense. If, like, not fully better, but there's parts of it that are better than before. And I think it took some sort of event like that for people to really come together. And I think that I think that's awesome. I mean, I wish it could have just happened on less severe terms.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry for getting off topic several times.
that's fine.
But
Thank you very much for your interview, Connor.
yeah, of course.
When COVID 19 swept across the globe in early 2020, it brought more than a health crisis. It triggered an economic shockwave that ripped through every industry. Small businesses shuttered overnight, once busting storefronts went dark, and global supply chains ground to a halt. For some, the pandemic marked the end of a chapter. Decades of work dissolved in months. For others, it was a forced transformation. From restaurants turning to a delivery-only models, to office towers standing empty as workforces went remote, adaptation became a matter of survival. E-commerce boomed, while travel, hospitality, and entertainment industries collapsed. Some corporations record profits, others filed for bankruptcy. Government relief kept many afloat, but not at all. The pandemic didn't just test balance sheets, it tested resilience, innovation, and the very structure of how we work, shop, and connect. Years later, its impact on businesses is still unfolding, a permanent reminder that even the most established systems can be brought to a standstill by the unseen. Hi, this is Justin right here.
And this is David.
So what's one interesting fact about you?
Interesting fact, I didn't do it this year, but I've been doing snowboarding for the last 3 years, and I'm pretty good at it.
So you had a COVID-19, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna ask him questions about how that went. How did you first realize you had COVID?
So I was outside, and I was at my old school, so it was a private school. I didn't like it, but I touched this plant, and I thought it was like poison ivy or something, and turns out I went to the doctor, and they said this was stinging metal, and they said that's not, it usually doesn't pop up, and your hands are red, and you feel like all mucus or whatever. So they took a test, and I had COVID.
What symptoms did you experience? Were they mild or severe?
I would say in the middle because sometimes I just didn't want to do anything and I felt like crap and just didn't want to move or whatever. But other times it was okay, so I would say medium.
How long did it take for you to start feeling better?
I'd say about 3 weeks, maybe 2.5.
Did you have to seek medical care or go to the hospital at any point?
No, like I said, I went to the doctor and then they figured out I had COVID after they took a test and then they gave me back my results 24 hours later.
Why do you think you got COVID?
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was just outside and I just kept touching plants or something. Or I was by my friend, he was sick, but he didn't have COVID, but maybe he actually did, so I don't know. That school has a lot of germs in it, so I don't know.
Did you take any medications or treatments that help you recover?
Just regular medicine, took some Advil, Tylenol, anything like that I took and I was okay. Or I just kept eating healthy foods or fruits, vegetables.
Were were there any specific challenges you faced during your recovery?
I hated that I was sleeping so much, so I couldn't really do anything. Basically, I was just watching movies all day, same movies, YouTube. So it was pretty boring. But after a little while, got a little bit better. But what really sucked was going back and forth at the time, because that's when I used to see my dad. But recently, my mom got full custody, so that's another challenge. But it was hard going back and forth, especially because it was during Thanksgiving when I had it, so I couldn't really see a lot of family.
Did you experience any lingering effects or long-term symptoms after recovering?
No, I mean, maybe the sniffles, but I feel like that's just because I was recently sick, so I don't think so.
How did you manage isolation or quarantine?
So at the time, my brother and I were sharing a room, so recently he was gonna change rooms anyway, so we got that fast and done. And then a week later, I had COVID, so it was perfect timing. So I had my own room, so I just did whatever in my own room. And then if I wanted to go downstairs, I had to wear a mask unless I was in our other living room towards the front door, because we have two living rooms. So if I wanted to do Legos or something, I just stay in that room. And then my mom came in like every 10 minutes and sprayed Lysol. I couldn't think of the name.
Was there anything to help you cope emotionally or mentally during your recovery?
I don't really think so. I mean, like I said, took lots of vitamins and stuff, so I got a little bit better each day.
Did you find any support from family, friends, or healthcare providers particularly helpful during your illness?
My family missed me, so because I said I couldn't see them during Thanksgiving, so couldn't really see them. And if I did, they just stood out the side of the front door, and I just talked through the glass of the screen door. So we just talked, and then they left. But some of my friends were concerned because when I was really bad, they thought I was dying. So it's nice that they actually cared.
And I just got a question. When I had COVID, food tastes very different. Did you experience that? Did food taste different when you had COVID?
Yeah, that was another sign. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, food tasted weird for a while, especially water. Water just did not taste the same. It just tasted disgusting, but I had to drink it. So then, like a week and a half later, it got better. So it was very hard to eat and drink.
How has COVID changed your perspective on health and safety?
It sucks to have it because you can't really see anybody or go to school. So I had to do a lot of virtual and well, we were doing that at the time anyway, pretty much. So it sucked. Just did homework, and if I needed help, I went outside, and my aunt helped me a lot too. But she was wearing a mask. I didn't have to because I was outside, and it was good to get fresh air. So it was okay.
Have you been vaccinated before? Is that how you say it?
Vaccinated?
Have you been vaccinated? Vaccinated?
No, let's just move on. I know what you mean. Have I been vaccinated?
Well, no, I'm gonna cut that out. Have you been vaccinated?
Just move on. You don't have to cut out anything. Okay, so vaccinated. Yes, I've been vaccinated twice. As soon as the funny thing is, I was vaccinated before the first time I had COVID, and I got like a couple weeks later. So that was not good. I don't think it really helps, but I got another one after I had COVID, and then I was fine. My brother actually recently had COVID, and he's 11, so.
Final question. Is there anything you would want people to know about your experience with COVID that might help others?
It sucks. Drink lots of water, even if it tastes disgusting, even if juice tastes disgusting, or any kind of food. Just keep trying to eat, or things that actually still taste the same. Just keep eating whatever that is. Eat lots of vitamins each day, medicine, and if it really bad hurts, then take Advil or Tylenol.
Thank you very much for your time, Justin.
You too.
You guys could give your names.
I'm Hayden Emmerich.
I'm Logan Wazalowski.
What was the biggest challenge you faced during lockdown?
I wasn't able to hang out with my friends.
I wasn't able to go outside.
Did your perspective on health, work, or relationships change? How so? Social and emotional impact.
You know, I wasn't able to hang out with my girlfriend, and low key, they kind of like split us apart. You know, she hated me a lot. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, I couldn't hang out with my friends as much, so I just kind of slowly stopped talking to them.
What emotions did you associate with that time? Fear, hope, or gratitude?
Mine was probably gratitude. You know, because when I was able to hang out with my friends, you know, I didn't take that for granted, and I really like held it close to my heart.
I said granted. It's granted.
I said granted? No, I didn't.
I said granted. I said granted.
I didn't take it for granted.
Yeah, anyways, gratitude.
I did say granted.
I did say granted.
I didn't take it
I
for
agree with
granted.
gratitude, though, because I'm grateful
Granted?
for people in my life. And
How
I
do
was
you
able
say
to
that?
connect
I
to
didn't
my
take it
family
for
more.
granted.
Shut up.
Granted.
Can you
That's what it
repeat that again?
Sorry.
I feel like I could connect most with gratitude because I could connect with my family more.
Were there any positive outcomes of the pandemic?
Nah.
No. Well, I mean,
Not even just for you, like just for yourselves?
yeah, I was able to game more. So, you know, I look, got like 1,000 hours on Rust. So.
You still suck.
What did you do? More?
I played a lot of GTA, but otherwise there was not much. So,
Didn't you
Gun
do like
buns.
lifting?
not during COVID.
Sure.
Echo.
What did you do to how did you pick up any new hobbies or skills during lockdown?
I didn't. I waited till after lockdown. Well, not really waited, but I didn't find anything until after
Mm.
lockdown.
Same. I wasn't able to, you know, play volleyball, so I could only stay inside. But at the time, I was playing basketball with a bunch of friends at the park, so you know, that was like our little get together, I guess you could say.
How did your relationship with What lessons from the pandemic do you still carry with you today?
I don't know.
Don't take anything for granted.
It's
Not as for granted.
granted for granted.
Don't take anything for granted. Stop. What do you think?
I agree. I don't have much else to add on to that, though.
Don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, granted.
Granted.
Do you think society has changed for better or worse because of it?
Worse.
You know, I'm gonna conflict you with that. I'm gonna say better.
How?
Because I feel like, you know, we've learned from our past. Like, you know, like 9/11, we were able to like get TSA and all that. So low key, you know, learn from your past. You know, so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, but now a lot more people are impatient and don't know how to talk to others. So,
Well, that's because of Instagram Reels.
bro, what?
I can't watch YouTube anymore. Okay. Continue.
And the last question is, if another pandemic happened, what would you do differently?
I don't know.
Probably could. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, I'd probably take less things for granted.
Hey, you said it right.
there actually.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh.
so low key, yeah, have more fun.
Okay, I just do the same things that I did back last time.
All right, thank you guys for
Yep.
being here.
Thank you.
The world was brought to its knees, but stood back up. We grieved, we adapt, we endured, and while scars remain, so does the strength. COVID-19 changed the world, not just how we live, but how we remember, how we cared, and how we prepare for what's next. In the silence after the storm, we found new voices. In the spaces left behind, we built something different. This isn't just a story of a virus, it's a story of people, of those who fought, those who healed, those who lost, and those who never gave up. And through the pandemic may be over, the questions it raised still echo. What do we owe to each other? What does it mean to be human in the face of the unknown? The answers may not come easily, but one truth remains. We were never alone, and together we will move forward.